Hi everyone, we are the marketing team here at Wholesale Supplies Plus, and we're doing today's soaping and slippers because Debbie is at home sick today. So we're taking over. You know, if you can, send her some love. I'm sure she's watching right now. Press the little heart button and let her know that, hey, you know, it's okay, like, you know, we're there for you. My name's Amaris. I work in video production here at Wholesale Supplies Plus, and I do a lot of the videos that you see online. I'm used to being behind the camera, not in front of it, so bear with me. And I'm also here with these two great ladies. I have Maddie to my right.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm manager of marketing, and I work a lot with the Handmade Magazine. And we got wonderful Sue over here too.
Hi, I'm Sue. I do the recipes and the kits for marketing and for Wholesale Supplies Plus.
She's the one that answers all your questions that get posted to the website.
Yeah. And so today we are inspired by Shark Week. Debbie got us this great dun, 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 dun. So we're gonna do all shark things basically. Shark bath bombs and all sorts of stuff.
Yes. Yes.
So grab your
grab a cup of coffee, grab some tea, some wine, whatever your drink of preference is, and join us. We here have some blood red wine and our nice little
cheers.
Beachy cups.
Yes,
cheers.
Don't tell Debbie we're drinking on the job.
Might be bad. But I'm going to go behind camera and man the camera, and Sue's going to answer some questions, but we're going to kind of rotate in and out here.
Yes.
And Amaris, take it over.
Yeah. So let me give you this, Maddie. There you go. All right. So I am going to show you how to make some bath bombs, and they are shark-inspired bath bombs. I have one right here, little Shark Fizzy. Maddie made this cute little label to go with it, and then we have a blue, white, and gray bath bomb with a little bit of red salt on top, and then inside of it I've put red embeds in it so that when you drop it in the water, you're going to have that shark bite red water that's going to come out into the water. So this is what we're going to make today. So if you're making this to sell, you always want to make sure you have all the proper safety equipment, and then the gloves are really to protect your hands as well as, you know, the safety of your consumers. So I always make bath bombs with my gloves on. I have very sensitive skin, so I don't want to mess around with that. Normally I would wear a mask, but because I'm all mic'd up and I want you to hear me, I am not going to wear a mask today. So the first thing that we're going to make are the little red embeds that go inside. So this is what the finished product looks like for the red embeds. It's okay, it'll come up. So we're going to do baking soda at 1.5 ounces. Citric acid at 1.5 ounces. And then we need the red color. This is Bath Bomb Red. This is our favorite for bath bombs. So I'm just going to dump that in here. And then I'm going to just mix this together with my hands. And I intentionally put a lot of color in this small amount of Bath Fizzy mixture because it's just going to be a small piece inside the bigger bath bomb. If this was going to be just a bath bomb of this, it might be a little dark for my preference. I always want to make sure that it's not going to stain. As you can see, it's staining my gloves. So then I'm going to take some rubbing alcohol. This is 99% alcohol, and I'm just going to spray it to get it wet. And then I'm just going to mix it again with my hands. I'm looking for a consistency that's going to hold together in my hands. So right now, you can see that it's not holding at all. It's just powder. So I still need more rubbing alcohol. And you want to make sure you don't put too much rubbing alcohol in it, because then it's going to cause the baking soda and citric acid to activate. And it might not be obvious right away while you're mixing it, but when you go to put it in your mold and you come back to unmold it, you're going to have a nice big like mushroom bath fizzy. So you can see it's starting to hold together pretty well. Like part of it's held together, but still part of it's a little bit crumbly. So I'm still going to put a little bit more rubbing alcohol in. It's starting to look really good. So you can see that holds really well together now. I can poke it a little bit and it doesn't really fall apart. So that is the ideal consistency. It's pretty hot and humid here. We actually just got an alert that there is a thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm watch coming here, warning. So hopefully our power doesn't go out. It's pretty dark outside. So let's just hope that everything stays together. So we're going to mold these with this little tiny like ice cube tray mold. It's called the Itty Bitty soap mold. We sell it at Wholesale Supplies Plus. It's super, super fun. We like it for any drink-inspired melt and pour soaps as well. So I'm not going to fill the entire mold because we're making 12 fizzies and I don't need that many squares. So I'm just going to start at one edge here and kind of get my fizzy mixture into it. And then start to kind of pat it down and really push it into the mold cavities. And I found for these that help to have them packed nice and tightly so that you get nice cubes that are easy to work with later. And feel free to ask questions if you guys have any questions. We'll do the best we can to answer them. Some of them I may answer online as I'm doing this. And then Sue is also on the computer, and she will answer questions there as well. So you can see we're about halfway full with our bath fizzy mixture. And it does take a little while for these to get nice and hard so that they stay together while we're going to mold them. So I made some ahead of time so that we had them for this Facebook Live and we didn't have to wait for them to mold. So when I've made this recipe before, I made this a day ahead of time and then just used them the next day. It might be ready a little bit sooner than that depending on where you live. If it's humid or if it's dry, it just kind of depends. So I'm going to set this aside. And so now we have these and we're ready to make our bath fizzies. My hands are really red. So I'm going to wash them a little bit so that this doesn't get into my other mixture.
Get really bloody everywhere.
Just blood everywhere, right? Shark blood everywhere. So the surprise is that you don't know that the red is inside. So I don't want to get red on the outside of the other fizzies because I want people to be surprised when they go to use it that like, oh, there's red shark embeds inside. Okay, so that is done. So next we're going to make the bath fizzy mixture for the bigger ball. I'm going to keep that on here. Okay, so I have 3 powders that I'm using to make the base of my mixture. So the 2 most important ones are baking soda and citric acid. I have 13.15 ounces of baking soda that I'm going to dump in here. And you want to make sure the baking soda is a nice powder consistency. Sometimes it can clump up if you're in a humid condition, and you don't really want the clumps in there while you're making your fizzies. So 13.15 ounces of baking soda, and that is by weight. I weighed it with a scale. And then I have citric acid, 6.10 ounces of citric acid. These are the 2 main ingredients that you need for bath fizzies. It's these two together plus water that's going to make your Bath Fizzies fizz. There isn't really a good substitute for either of these, so you need those for Bath Fizzies. The other one that we have is tapioca starch, and this makes the bath bomb a little bit harder. It's 3.20 ounces is what I'm going to use for this one. This one you can use something else for. You don't have to use tapioca starch. You could use arrowroot powder or cornstarch powder or goat's milk powder if you wanted to. You know, most powders will work. I probably wouldn't use like the grainy powders like a lemon powder or something like that, but it might work. I just never have done it before. So we have our powders together here. So I'm going to mix this to get these powders nice and mixed. And these are going to create kind of like a cloud of powder. So I'm going to put this over our bowl so that I don't get the powder everywhere, which I usually do anyway. So you can kind of see here that they're mixing together. Okay. And while that's going, so we have all these additives that we're going to add into it. They're all for like a little bit of different reasons, but mainly the liquid part of all this is what's going to bind the bath bomb together. So I have ultra refined shea butter, and this is at 1 ounce. You could use another butter if you didn't want to use shea butter. You could use another type of shea butter too. You could use natural shea butter or whatnot. So that's what that is. And then argan oil, this is 0.4 ounces of argan oil. You can use something else as well. You know, if you like avocado oil, you could use that, or sunflower oil, whatever you want. So I'm going to pour my oil with my butters.
Hey, Iris, there's a
Yeah,
question.
sure.
Would you use the same amount of powder if you were to use kaolin?
It should be the same one. You kind of, the way you can test it is it's kind of by volume is what I would check for in this recipe. So take the, I forget what the amount was, but the amount of tapioca starch. Let me see here. We had 3.2 ounces of that. So they should be like pretty much the same. So I would say that's probably a good substitution, equal parts. But you always want to test any substitutions in a small test batch because, I mean, it should work, but there's a lot of things that I should work that I make and don't work. So just kind of keep that in mind too. But I would think you can do an equal substitution for white kaolin clay and tapioca starch.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to stop this. And so we have these two together. I want to melt them. So I'm just going to pop it in the microwave. And I have a tendency of overheating things in the microwave, especially in these plastic beakers. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but there's been times that I put a beaker in and melted it, and I opened the microwave and there was no more beaker left because the beaker had completely melted. So nowadays I try to stick with like 10 to 20 second increments to avoid melting my beaker.
While she melts that, does anybody have any questions or any fun stories about Shark Week? Does anybody swim with sharks? I could never do it.
I did it once at Disney. They had like a big pool with sharks, and it was like one of the most terrifying things.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody, like all these little kids are swimming like it's no big deal, and I'm like, I can't handle it.
Oh, that's right. Debbie mentioned, our kaolin clay is coming back in stock next week.
Yay!
Yay!
I know we've been out of it for a while, and it has made us sad. All of your Shark Week inspired posts are looking awesome, by the way. Keep that up. We have a contest going on right now, and the winner of the Shark Week contest gets $100 to WSP. It goes until, I think it's Sunday. Is that right?
The 29th, and then we're going to pick our winner the 30th, so on Monday. And we've seen so many cute. We don't even know how we're going to judge. We're going to have to put it up to the whole WSP
whole
staff. There's too many cute ones.
There are. Okay, so I have my oils and my butter all set to go here. And this recipe is also on Wholesale Supplies Plus, our website. It's on the Handmade 101 tab. And there's a kit there too. The kit should be available tomorrow. It'll show out of stock right now, but we should get it up and running tomorrow. Okay, so to my oils, and I'm doing it a little bit different than what's written just because of how I have things measured out. But I've added a little bit of vitamin E to this recipe. And what the vitamin E does is it's an antioxidant. So it helps oils and butters stay fresh longer because it helps stop the oxidation that will happen with it. So what this will do is make your bath bomb last longer. You could make it without it. It's just that, you know, over time, the oils and the butter might go rancid, and so it might start to smell. So when it starts to smell, I would say you probably don't want to use it. Okay, so mix that together. So vitamin E, argan oil, and shea butter, that's what I have in that beaker. Okay, so I am going to get this mixing again. And while it's going, I'm going to slowly drizzle my oils. And this isn't that hot. This is warm because I just melted it, but it's not boiling hot. Do you have a question, Maddie?
No.
You're good?
We just
Okay.
had someone that asked what Shark Week was, but Sue in Behind in Questions answered.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know what Shark Week was either. I think
it's
last year I knew it was the first time.
Really?
But
I
yeah,
watched
it's on the Discovery Channel. They have shark programming like all week.
Just don't watch it before you go on a beach vacation. That's
Yeah.
our best advice.
Yeah.
I think it's like been around for 30 years, right?
Yeah, I think this is the 30th
30th year
year
doing
that they've had
Shark
it,
Week.
which is
Yes.
kind of crazy. Okay. So that's mixing in nicely. I also have Poly 80, 0.4 ounces, and the reason I'm using Poly 80 is because I do have some mica that's going to be in the recipe later. So the Poly 80 is going to help the mica so that it doesn't stick completely to the side of the tubs. It also helps with the oils and butter so that the oils and butters don't sit on your bath water and then you have like all the oils at the top. So we're going to add this too. And I just have the KitchenAid on low. If you didn't have a KitchenAid, you could use a hand mixer and do this way too. Or you could mix it with your hands. Okay. And that last oil I'm going to add is our fragrance oil. This is sea salt and driftwood fragrance oil. Smells really nice. It has no vanilla in it, so I don't need any stabilizer. If you had a fragrance with stabilizer, I would recommend using Vanilla Color Stabilizer for CP soap. And I would take the amount that you had, so this was 0.3 ounces. I would use the same amount as your fragrance. So this would be, like if you had a fragrance with less than 10% vanilla, you would use 0.2 ounces of fragrance oil to 0.1 ounces of Vanilla Color Stabilizer. If you had a fragrance that had over 10% vanilla content, you're going to use 0.15 ounces of fragrance oil with 0.15 ounces of stabilizer. And to use it, you'd mix those two together, let it sit for 2 minutes, and then add it to your mixture. The stabilizer does cause the Bath Fizzy mixture to activate a little bit, so you want to make sure that it's mixing and you're not just dumping the whole thing, because if you dump it all at once, it's going to start to bubble up, which you don't want to do. Okay, 2 more things to go into this mixture. I have rubbing alcohol and water, both at 0.25 ounces. I like bath bombs that have some water in it because I find that they're harder for me, like long term, like when they're done, they feel a little harder to me. I mean, it's not to say that's the only way to do it. There's tons of ways to create hard bath bombs, but I just personal preference like to have a little bit of water. You could do Shea 50 in there instead of water. You could do a hydrosol if you wanted to add some label appeal. So I'm going to turn it up because the water will cause the mixture to activate a little bit. So I want to make sure that it mixes quickly and that I'm going to drizzle it slowly. And then this is the rubbing alcohol. Same thing, keep it nice and fast.
Amrit, did you weigh these ahead of time with a scale?
I did weigh all of this ahead of time with the
There you
scale.
go.
So all of the weight, or all of the measurements, except for my color, were done by weight. Okay, actually let's go. This is a Holly Port trick. She's the queen of bath bombs, but she's taught me to always use a skewer here to just go around the edge to kind of get anything that might build up on the sides. All right, so let's check to see how it looks.
Get a close-up of this. So, Amrit, what are the benefits of Shea 50?
Shea 50.
Mm-hmm.
It's a type of shea butter that has been formulated to be water dispersible, so that typically if you had a water dispersible product, you wouldn't be able to maybe add a shea butter in it because it might not mix in well. But the Shea 50 has made it so that it can mix in with the water, but still have the benefits of the shea butter. I have the hardest time getting bowls out of KitchenAids. Okay. So I'm just going to use my hands to kind of make sure that this is looking good. And so the consistency you want is that when you pull it with your hands, forward, right here, you're good, okay. So it kind of looks like snow right now, right? Like it still looks like powder. There's not a lot of clumps going on, just a little bit. But when I grab it with my hands and open it up and squeeze, you can see that it's pretty much stayed together completely, and it stays really hard, like firm when I poke it with my thumb. That's the kind of consistency you want for bath bombs. If you were to squeeze it and it crumbles out, that's not enough liquid. But if it looked chunky already in here, then you probably added too much liquid. So make sure you're adding it like not too much at a time, because you can't take it away once it's put in. You could add more powders to it, but it's a little hard to kind of get the right thing. Okay. So we have all of our Bath Fizzy mixture. We're going to divide it up because we are going to do different colors. I'm going to get my scale.
Oh, speak of the bath bomb queen, Holly Port just watched.
Hey, Holly Port. Thanks for
Watching
teaching
with
me how to make your bath bombs. All right, so I'm going to put 6 ounces by weight, you can see, in this bowl. And it doesn't have to be exact, I mean, because we're going to mix it all together, but this is how I've done it. Okay, so we have 6 ounces here.
What's the total weight of the bath fizz mixture?
That's a good question. If you added up all the numbers in the recipe, that'll give you the total weight. But it's something like 6, and I think I have like 9 ounces maybe left in the other bowl.
For the different colors?
Yeah, they're going to be different colors.
And someone asked about Shea 50. How much of the Shea 50 did you use?
I didn't use Shea 50. I used the water. It was 0.25 ounces of water, but you could use 0.25 ounces of Shea 50 instead if you wanted to do that. Yeah, as a substitute. But I would make sure you test that substitution, because I have not tested that substitution in this recipe, so you just kind of want to make sure. I mean, it should be fine, but can't tell you how many times I'm like, yeah, this should be fine, and it doesn't work out. Okay. So I want most of the mixture to be white, so this is more than 6 ounces in here. I did them all equal the first time I made this recipe, and I just felt like I didn't have enough white. So we are going to add gray or silver color to one of them. This is, I think it's called Gray's 50 mica powder. Gray's 50 Shades mica powder. So that's going to go in one.
Oh, 50 shades. Got it.
All right, and the other one that we're going to do is New Tone Navy. A lot of times when I do bath bombs, I would use bath bomb blue, but I kind of wanted a different shade of blue than normal bath bomb blue. And the tricky thing with blue colors is that most of them contain ultramarines in them. That's what gives it its blue color. And you have to be careful with ultramarines and bath bombs because it can create this sulfuric rotten egg smell if you use it. But you have to test. I mean, I've seen some mica powders that have it in it. It doesn't have that problem. But this mica powder does not have ultramarines in it, so that's why I chose it. So just use our hands and get this all mixed together. It's our blue, and then we have our gray over here. And it was 1/8 of a teaspoon that I put in for each color.
Wasn't it the Newtone blue?
Newtone Navy is the blue.
Newtone Navy. Okay.
And then this one over here is the Gray's 50 Shades. But 1/8 of a teaspoon of Gray's 50 and 1/8 of a teaspoon of Navy, Newtone Navy. And the reason I didn't do it in weight is because with ounces, that's not big enough to weigh on the scale. Okay, and then we have I'm going to butcher the name, but Alea red sea salt. If you know the name, I'm sorry if I butchered it. But it's a sea salt that's coated in this red clay, and we're going to use that to decorate the tops. So I've got my 3 different colors. I have my red embeds, and then I have my red salt for the top. So we are ready to mold.
Oh my gosh, you're using the new metal molds.
The new metal molds. These are my favorite. I love them. Okay, so I am going to set my finished bath fizzies on this tray with bubble wrap. Nothing fancy. This is what we send stuff with you, the packaging. I actually went in the warehouse and just stole it. The trick with the bubble wrap is that you can see that there's writing on one side and there's no writing on the other side. Always make sure your writing is face down because that will come off and leave the name of whatever it is on your bath fizzy. You don't want that. And I don't know why I know that, but that's just how it happens. All right, so these are the new metal bath bomb molds. This is the similar size as our smaller plastic mold. There's also a larger one and a smaller one than this one. So I'm going to take the fizzy mixture, just sprinkle a little in 1/2, and then I'm going to put 3 of my red things in here, and then I'm going to top it with white powder. And notice that I'm just lightly putting all the stuff in. I'm not packing it down. It's just lightly putting a little bit of blue on or whatever color. I'm going to put 3 more of these on. One of them was kind of like a half guy, so I'm going to put another one on. And then I'm going to put more of the white on top. And it's pretty loose. So now that I have 2, and they're nice and overflowing, so that when I push them together, I'm going to push it into one bath bomb. If you pack both sides and then push it together, it kind of is like 2 halves that don't really ever go together. So that's why I left it nice and loose. Let me make sure Maddie can see. Is that good, Maddie?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got the 2 halves here, and I'm just going to push them together, get them nice and lined up. And then I'm just going to brush away any excess there. Oh, I forgot to put the red sea salt in. Okay, we'll do another one without that. Okay, so you can see the top came out nice and easily. And so what I'm going to do to put it on because I always end up pushing too hard and getting my fingerprint. So I'm just going to put it upside down and then let it release. So the first one I forgot to put the red salt in. So we're going to do another one. So take this one. Sprinkle some red salt in first, which is the step I missed the first time. Then we're going to put some gray powder nice and loosely in. 3 of these little cubes. Fill it with the white. Grab this one and we're going to put blue in. 3 more of the red guys. And then top it with white. Okay, and then you're going to squeeze these together. And I'm going to take this side off first because this is the blue bottom. Nice and smooth. And I'm just going to dump it there and just leave that. Do you guys have any questions?
Pansy said this is why she saves her bubble wrap.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So good.
Works so well.
The other option you can do if you don't have bubble wrap is you could, here I'll show you on this one.
Someone was asking why you didn't happen to tap the back of the mold.
It just comes right out. It depends on your recipe a little bit. This one has some oils and butters in it, so it came out pretty good. The times that you have problems with unmolding is if your bath bomb starts to activate while you're making it, and then when it activates, it expands inside of the mold, which puts pressure on the mold, which makes it hard to release. So if that's happening to you, check your recipe because you might have a little bit too much liquid in it, and that might be why it's not coming out. Or if you let it sit in the molds overnight, sometimes that can happen too, especially if you're in a humid area. But yeah, you can definitely use a spoon to tap on if you're having issues getting it out. So I'm going to take this top part out.
We've had really good experience with the metal.
Yeah, they work really good. Sometimes you can squeeze it a little bit too, but these are pretty sturdy, so there's not a ton of give when you squeeze it. Oh, I forgot to show you the option. All right, we'll do it on this one. So a little bit of salt, a little gray powder, 3 of these guys, some white piled up, some blue, 3 more. And if you didn't want the intensity of adding all these layers and stuff, you could simplify this recipe by not dividing it out and putting the 3 colors in. You could not use the embeds if you wanted. You could use different color embeds if you wanted. You could really customize it and make it what you want. Okay. Push them together.
Should I fill up a bowl of water and we test one?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
All right.
Okay, so this one I did I took the top off. And if you have enough molds, you could leave the bottom, and then if you didn't have bubble wrap and just set that on a surface, the metal mold will keep it nice and round. So I have some more molds here to do that, but you have to make sure you have enough of them to do your recipe that way. Okay, so I'm going to move this stuff. You guys get the idea, right, with how to make it. To make all 12 of them, you would just keep doing what I was doing. Okay. Which one? Let's take one of these ones.
Shot here.
Okay, so I made these ones yesterday, so I'm going to drop one of these in. So you can see a day later, they're pretty hard. Can you see that?
Very hard.
And it's got the blue layer, the white layer, and the red layer there with the salt. So I'm going to drop this in so you can see how it fizzes and see the red color that comes out afterwards. What happened? Oh, there it is. Scared me. I was like, why isn't it fizzing? So it takes a while to get to the red embeds because they're pushed inside. So right now the outer part of it is getting going fizzy, and that's what the red, the white, and the gray is like. See, it's a nice foamy fizz too. Get it going.
And it takes a little while, but it gets to the red on the inside?
Yeah, so you can start to see that the red is showing up over here and over here. So, but this is a nice, long-lasting bath bomb too. And it's got the oils and the butters in there, so it'll feel nice on your hands.
And what did you scent it with again?
Sea salt and driftwood. So I'm just going to put my hand in so you can see. So my hand's not, there's a little bit of the blue on there, but it's not staining or anything. It's washing off right away. And this is a really small bowl too. If you were going to use this, it would be in a bigger bathtub too. But you can start to see the red color. It's like a little pinky. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. We're going to switch up a little bit so you can kind of see the shark bite coming out. It kind of looks like a shark bite now. Okay. I'm going to let Maddie come on, and she is going to talk about Handmade Magazine. Move this stuff out. Grab my wine. Thank you for watching.
All right, so we're going to briefly talk a little bit about Handmade Magazine. I'll give Amherst a second to switch the camera. There's only 3 of us here today. So next edition we have is all honey themed. We loved this idea. It's the prime honey harvest season. Save the Bees is really popular right now, and honey just smells good. It's awesome in products and different things like that too. So we have, I'm going to zoom in on this. In this edition we have honey pumpkin hand soap. We have cold process honey and oats CP. And we have a bath bomb that is dripped in honey. Look how awesome that drip looks. I don't know where I'm going. Let's go over here. We have a unique one that's a little bit different. We haven't done a furniture polish before in Handmade Magazine, but we have a beeswax furniture polish. And there's even recipes in here and a how-to instruction for each one for the furniture polish. We did how to have beautiful lips. We did a honey and sugar lip scrub and a honey and nut lip butter balm. So these 2 are really nice. They make really nice little gift sets. The lip butter feels heavenly after you scrub it with a little bit of sugar scrub and put some butter on it afterwards. And then we have this cute little beehive mold. I forget which mold this is. Do you know, Amherst? Honey Hive, I think.
Something like bee.
Honey
I'm not
Hive.
sure.
We'll post it in the comments, but I love this, and one of our girls in marketing hand painted on the top with mica. It looks really lovely. There's even
Hey, Jesse's on watching.
Jesse's watching from purchasing. So we've got incorporating honey and beeswax in cold process soap articles. We have a really good article in here from Kevin Dunn. We love his chemistry articles. I think we got a little following going there for him. But he does one on hot process versus cold process and kind of better understanding the temperatures in which you make soap. We have a popular scrubby lotion bars done by Susan Barclay. Really hot trend, kind of a mix between an exfoliant and also a lotion bar, and you can use it in the shower. I think all the marketing team loved that one, right? When we got home and tested it, felt really, really nice. There's even, here's Kevin Dunn. Some like it hot process versus cold process. But yeah, everything is honey themed. We're excited. These are going to go out in the mail next week. Be sure to subscribe if you want a print edition for the Handmade Magazine. And any questions? Pretty much good there. We're going to have Sue pop in here and talk about a little bit of our favorite fragrances for Shark Week, a little bit of an ocean themed. And we're going to have her come pull off of the computer. She's a little bit delayed as far as timing, so we'll go get her. And she'll answer and talk about just some of our favorite fragrances over here. Sound good? We got to switch up mics. Sounds good. Welcome, Sue. Give us her love. Little heart loves on the Facebook Live. A little bit of love. We got to get her mic'd up for a minute, so give us a minute. Oh, yeah, and of course she's got to get her wine.
Maddie, can you tell me a little bit about the packaging here?
Oh my gosh. So this was just simple packaging in little cello bags. And then we tied a cute little tag that says Bath Busy with a little shark, chomp chomp. These labels you can find for free on Handmade 101. You can print them off at home, attach them to it with a little bit of ribbon, and it makes a really cute gift. And I see these working past Shark Week. I mean, I feel like sharks are just awesome. Beach theme, summer, that it can be definitely a a collection for your summer line to do these little bath bombs with these tags here too. So very cool. All right, Sue, your mic's up now?
I think I am.
All
Hopefully
right.
everyone can hear me.
Sounds good. Take it away, Sue.
All right, thank you. Well, what we're going to follow up now is we're going to go over a few fragrances that we have chosen to kind of go along with our Shark Week Ocean
Let me get this out of your way.
theme. Oh, thank you. Unplug that. Thank you. So what we have for you is, and I'm going to try to smell these and kind of explain to you what I think they smell like. Debbie normally does this, and she's wonderful at picking out the notes and everything, but so I'm going to do my best to do that for you. The first one we have here is Blood Orange and Goji. This is a blend of blood orange juice, which we kind of brought the blood in for the Shark Week theme, and sweet satsuma orange wedges. It is, you definitely get the orange, but it's not a real sweet scent. It does have some tartness to it, which makes it really nice, and it does have some undertones of mango, which makes this, it's just a really awesome fragrance. We've used this in our Citrus Sunset Loaf soap recipe, so if anyone wants to check that out. We have actually used all of these in a recipe, so they do work wonderfully in everything that we have made. This is our Almond Milk and Sea Salt fragrance, number 1009. This is a newer scent. You can tell by the higher number on our fragrances. It is a blend of almond milk, and I definitely get a coconut note in here, definitely. A little sweet, and it does have the kind of cherry almond with it also. We've used this fragrance with our Summer Love and Lotion recipe, which we had in our June Handmade Magazine a few months back, so hopefully you got a chance to check that one out. Coconut and Blue Agave is another one that we chose. It has notes of sweet blue agave. If anyone is not sure of what blue agave is a plant that is grown in Mexico. This is just a nice soft scent. It's not strong, just comes through very nice. I think this would be nice in pretty much, in any type of product that you wanted to use it in. We've actually used this in our multicolored bath recipe. We had different shades of blue in that put in one of our salt tubes for packaging. We've also chosen the Sea Salt and Driftwood, which Amherst just used in the Shark bath bombs. This is very nice. This you can really kind of picture yourself walking along the seashore, looking at the driftwood and just smelling that seawater air, the sea air, salt air, salt air from the ocean. It's just a very nice scent. This we used in our Sea Glass Melt and Pour Loaf. Don't know if you got a chance to check that one out. It's got a sand, kind of looks like a sand, a seascape with sand on the bottom and different layers of blue. And then the last one, the one I saved for last, is actually my favorite, Coconut Milk. This is just the nicest coconut that I think we carry here at Wholesale Supplies. Very creamy. It is a really true coconut scent. So if you haven't tried it and you do love coconut, I would truly recommend this. We use this in our coconut milk body wash recipe, which also is an amazing body wash. That is also one of my favorite recipes too. So coconut milk, number 821, if anyone is interested in that. And that is pretty much it. That is the 5 fragrances that we chose to highlight for today. So I hope you have enjoyed our
Shark Week
Facebook.
soap
Yes.
and slippers. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. Cheers, ladies.
Cheers. And Debbie, we miss you. Hope you get better soon.
Feel better soon, Debbie. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.